Okie dokie.
All right, let's try this again. So we're going to go into the next section. And you guys have the formula sheets?
Yeah.
So we're going to do sum and difference of angles. Okay?
You're so happy now that the camera's on.
That's right. There's camera me. There's me being videotaped. And then there's me not being videotaped. This is 5.4. Sum and difference formulas, right? So actually, I'll just have you look at your sheet. Did I hand it out, right? So we've got the sine of x plus y, the sine of x minus y, the cosine of x plus y, the cosine of x minus y, the tangent of x plus y, and the tangent of x minus y, right? So we'll learn how to use these, okay? So I won't bore you by writing them out because you have them right in front of you, right? I'll write one of them out. I'll just say the sine of u plus v equals the sine of u cosine of v
Oh my gosh, I remember this.
plus cosine u sine of v, and then the sine of u minus v is the sine of u cosine v minus cosine u sine v, right? And on you do cosine u plus v and cosine of u minus v, right? And that's going to be cosine of u sine of v minus sine of u, or sorry, cosine of u cosine of v minus sine of u sine of v. This is cosine of u cosine of v plus sine of u sine of v, right?
So basically the x and the, okay, well I guess u and v is applied to the sine and cosine and it's flipped on the other side of the equation?
Yeah, so here if they're plus, we have sine, cosine plus, cosine, sine. Here it's minus, same, but then cosine, it's cosine u cosine v minus,
Oh, because it's
and then,
on that.
yeah, so it's a little weird, but you have the formulas right there, and so how to use it? Well, what's the cosine of 165?
Like getting a calculator?
No calculators.
Oh, you want us to?
Yeah, so what can you, is there something you can rewrite it in that you do know? So remember we have memorized everybody memorized?
Yes.
5 basic trig functions of 0, 30, 60, 45, 90, right?
Oh, so you split it apart into, so it fits.
Yeah, so we can split this into the cosine of 45 plus 120, yeah, which is pi over 4 and pi, what is that, 2 pi over 3, right? What's the cosine of pi over 4? Root 2 over 2. And the cosine of 2 pi over 3?
0. Is it 1/2?
1/2.
Got it.
Right, okay. Yeah, right? So then we say, well, what's the sheet say? Cosine of u plus v, right? So that's going to be the cosine of 45 times the cosine, well, actually, let me write this as, it's pi over 4 times the cosine of 2 pi over 3, and then minus the sine of pi over 4 sine of 2 pi over 3. Okay? Make sure it's recording. what's the cosine of pi over 4?
Root 2 over 2.
Cosine of 2 pi over 3? Sine of pi over 4? Root 2 over 2, right? Same thing. And the sine of 2 pi over 3?
Square root of 3 over 2.
Actually, hold on. What's the cosine of 2 pi over 3? Negative 1/2.
And then is that positive 1/2?
But the rest are positive, yep.
Oh, just kidding.
Sine, because that's above the, between 0 and pi. So this would be root 3 over 2, right? And so I'm going to get negative radical 2 over 4 minus radical 6 over 4, which is the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 over 4. Now, who's got a calculator?
Yeah.
You check on that for me? Do the cosine of 165. If somebody can do that for me, please.
I think
Well,
when
like
it comes to radians. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Negative 0.06.
Okay.
The cosine of 165.
What's the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2 over 4? That doesn't seem 0.06.
Square root of 6 over 4.
Well, square root of 6 over 4 minus the square root of 2 over 4. Maybe I have a calculator I can borrow? Really quick. Put my video on pause. Thank you. Okay, so let's just check. Cosine of 165. Negative 0.9659, right there. Negative 0.9659. And let me see, cosine of pi over 4. Minus, sorry, that's a negative. There we go. Should be negative right there. All right, so then we're going to go, what is the square root of 6?
I got 2.44.
Let's see. Divided by 4. Oops, negative. Sorry, negative square root of 6. I'm trying to use this. Minus. Trying to use this calculator. Okay, and then wrong button. Square root of 2 is that divided by 4 equals, there we go. Okay. See, same number, right? There you go. You should get the same number, right? Did it right. Okay. So let's do another one of those. Everybody's got that? Sine of 75. Off the top of your head, sine of 75.
Sine of 75.
No? Nobody knows?
Nope.
That's right. sine of 75 can be written as the sine
30 and 45.
30 and 45?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So you all know that. Right? Everybody knows that. No. I mean, sine and cosine of 30 and 45, I mean, right? So, let's see, sine, it's plus, so sine of 30, cosine of 45. Sine of 30, cosine of 45, plus cosine 30, sine of 45, right? Sine of 30 degrees is radical 3 over 2. Cosine of 45 is, no, sorry, 1/2, sorry. Sine of 30 is 1/2. Cosine of 45 is radical 2 over 2 plus cosine of 30 is radical 3 over 2. Sine of 45 is radical 2 over 2, right? So this is going to be the square root of 2 plus the square root of 6 over 4, right? You simplify that down, okay?
Isn't that what we got last time?
Last time was negative. So that one was negative. But if you're using 30 and 45, you're going to get very similar looking answers. You're going to get a lot of radical 3s and radical 2s and 1s, right? Okay, any questions on that? So you can check in your calculator. Square root of 2 plus square root of 6 over 4. I think it's 0.96, right?
And so then we just have to compare that to sine of 75, and if it's the same, then it's right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you did it right. Yeah. Okay. How about what's the cosine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4? What is that anyways? That's 60 minus, so that's a cosine of 15 degrees, right? What's the cosine of 15 degrees? Well, pull out my chart here. Cosine of x minus y is cosine of x, cosine of y, plus sine of x, sine of y. So this is going to be cosine pi over 3 cosine pi over 4 plus sine pi over 3 sine pi over 4, right? Okay? Study of psychotics?
Well,
Alright, so this is 1/2 radical 2 over 2 plus radical 3 over 2 radical 2 over 2. So that's going to be radical 2 plus radical 6 over 4. Right? And so the cosine of 15 and the sine of 75 are going to be the same, right? And it should be.
why do we keep getting the same answer? Oh, you just put it in radians.
Yeah, so well, the sine of 75, and this is cosine of 15 degrees. So they're going to be the same because it's like the cosine of 30, the cosine of 30, and the sine of 60 are the same, right? Because it's the same triangle. It's just different legs. So yeah, those should be the same answer, which I think was about, was it 0.96 something? Okay. I wonder if shutting the door did that.
Made it cold.
Because it got cold as soon as I shut the door.
Why are there a bunch of children in the other room?
Oh, why am I
Because they like staying at the YMCA.
Oh, yeah, my interview went well.
Oh yeah, you go YMCA interview.
Yeah.
Mine
I
would
go
go
Brush.
through.
I talked to the girl who runs the day camps, that's why I went.
You brush your teeth. You didn't have the garlic.
Yeah.
Somebody's tzatziki.